There was chaos happening in Tribe Sol Dog as the tribes suddenly became divided and a war started between two forces. So what happened was, Perma had promised Quarter a birthday present promise or something, so Quarter asked what Perma's game plan was, which Perma told in detail, which included getting rid of Quarter and bringing at least Callie and Pato the merge. Now after receiving this info, Quarter began to immediately spin some wheels in the tribe, turning against Perma, though he had already edged with the idea, but had been clinging to the idea that maybe he would ally with Perma's alliance for real before this info surfaced. So, Quarter tried to turn everyone individually in the tribe against Perma, telling small lies. Perma, Pato, and Callie realized that he was a threat now that had to be taken down immediately, so they turned towards Postal and Jacob, trying to convince them to vote Quarter with them. Postal sided with Perma and pals, but Jacob had already sided with Quarter and his game plan, the two voting Pato out, with the idea of getting Perma out afterwards. Information came over that Spevy had been secretly chatting with Quarter, which made the others turn against him. Now, Spevy didn't know he was breaking rules, but the others ganged up on him. This made the alliance break apart, which consisted of Mal, No One and Spevy, which left No One and Mal alone. Mal however made a solo alliance with Brett Ross. Cheesy said, "I'm tapping into my inner Jesus." No One said, "You could just calculate the perfect angle to run along the water to avoid sinking using the baboon foreskin factorization method." Cheesy said, "I'll awaken my inner dong and meditate my way across." Then it was time for today's eliminations. Tribe Sol Dog decided to vote Quarter out, due to scheming against the majority. Callie said, "You once again cheated and tried to make us turn on each other, unfortunately the tribe can vote you out, same with the other tribe, we warned you and Jacob to stick with us as a team." Perma said, "And in this moment, Callie has stolen your aura farming technique." Quarter said, "Actually, for once I was honest to Postal, and Perma before he decided to betray me and then I did lie to you and Pato." Callie said, "No one was going to betray you, we thought you'd listen." Quarter said, "Nah, I've seen enough, I'll see you guys next season." Quarter stabs himself in the chest and falls to the ground dead, while a hawk takes his gen and flies away. The player vote results resulted in a tie between Cheesy Mouse and Spevy, which was solved by Mal switching their vote to Spevy, which means Spevy got eliminated on day 3. Spevy's head exploded and his body fell to the ground. Mal said, "Damn, rest in peace Spevy." Brett Ross said, "What? Bye bye Spevy." Postal, Callie and Perma decided to go on a mission towards the question mark area in hopes of finding a red panda. As they walked in the woods, they were approaching the area. Postal said, "I want a better sword than this fuckus basic ass sword, actually can I have a dark lance from Terraria?" Then they arrive at a place next to the China wall, where there is a sign on the ground with a skull carved in it. Next to it is a tree with a red panda sleeping on the branch. It slips down to the ground and Callie goes towards it slowly, petting it. Callie said, "Oh yeah. Red panda." Postal asked, "Can I throw a pokeball at the panda?" Callie said, "No, it's mine, god damn it." Then suddenly arrows start to shoot from the question mark area, which sends Perma and Callie running towards home with the red panda. Postal however decides to fight against these unknown people. Postal threw a bomb at the enemies. But more of them come from around him, shooting him in the leg with an arrow and they jump him, tying him up. The enemies took Postal to a castle in the forest, locking him up in a basement room. Dong led a mission to the northwest mountain marked as Mountain. He was joined by no one and Mal. They walked through the forest up north and turned west, walking to the lake at the other side of the map. Their way was peaceful, but at the lake they found a massive dead green-bluish dragon that was laying on the beach. It had javelins in its eyes and one in its neck. They were poisoned. They went behind the marked mountain and Dong led them up the mountain a little bit till they found a tight opening. They made their way down a tight tunnel going down to a room that had a table with a book on it. Dong took the book, but felt unknown terror and adrenaline rush through his body. As they left the mountain, a red dragon that breathed fire was flying towards them. The beast is the guard of the mountain, but had been away when they entered it. They dodged the fire that rained below and hid in a cave till the dragon went to look for them around the mountain. They ran back to the village and on their way, the pie monster was running towards them behind with heavy footsteps far away. They dropped pies on the ground and it stopped as they reached the village. Another presence was seen wandering around the tree line of the village, stalking. A black fairly big figure in the dark. They didn't follow you back to the village, who knows what they're gonna do. Later back at the village, Dong had started to meditate and trying to figure how to activate the superpowers with the found book. Dong also noticed that taking the book shifted the atmosphere and something changed in the valley. Later, Rolfus, eater of microplastics, is whimpering due to losing his human dad Spevy. The dog accidentally pushes a table that makes booze fall to the floor. He starts to lick the booze and the leader Chong sees the opportunity, while tied up at the corner of the room. He says, "Hey boy, come over here, your buddy here needs some of that really bad." The dog comes to him and he is friendly towards the dog. The dog licks his face with his booze-filled tongue, making Chong feel a huge rush of relief at the touch of booze. Then he realizes that the dog can't pick up a bottle and bring it to him, so he starts to cry, while the tied-up medic says, "It's over, we are more likely to die of something else here than liver disease, we won't make it to Nirvana, brother." Then Cheesy and Mal discussed whether they should kill the men, rehabilitate them or just leave them as they are. They end deciding to pull a lethal prank on them. Cheesy decided to feed them rubbing alcohol in cups, and because they were in withdrawals, they drank that shit down and started to feel the effects. The medic says, "This doesn't feel right, what did you give us?" Cheesy said, "Pure alcohol." His vision is getting blurry and he feels like he is gonna faint. His stomach is burning and he falls to the ground unconscious. Chong said, "You bastards," and tries to grab a knife from the table and he stabs it in his liver and says weakly, "This should work, please work. My liver is hurt, maybe I will get to Nirvana now if it shuts down." Mal said, "Geez, I'll look after Rolfus a bit."